Hello, everyone. My name is Deborah, and I'm from Social Web Cafe. Probably many of you recognize me thanks to the big red hair, the avatar. So I won't take up your time and with a bunch of the background, and instead we'll save our time for the meat and potatoes. But I will skim over a bit of the background that leads us to today, especially for those of you who I've not had the pleasure of meeting yet. Okay, here goes Deborah Anderson in 60 seconds. Anyone want to time me? I'll see if I can pack it in. And no, I haven't practiced this, but I'll try and cram it all in, okay? All right, I learned sound engineering professionally at Los Angeles Film School many years ago. I went to college for programming and graduated summa cum laude, BSIT, Bachelor of Science Information Technology, and Project Management, which helped later when I worked for the Ninjas as Director, Project Management Office. Hit number 1 on the Reverb Nation charts in Los Angeles and held it for over a year. While holding the jazz position, completed Master's Industrial Organizational Psychology. I have an ABD also. I've been married to the same wonderful man, Michael, 30 years and 3 kids, 3 grandkids. Hooked up with Ann Smarty and became her community manager, my blog guest. Also co-hosted Madeline Sklar's GG Chat. And I run Social Cafe. And that doesn't include my JOB as Chief Technology Officer and all that fun stuff, as well as videographer, podcaster, and it just didn't all fit. There, how'd I do? Okay. All right, and by the way, I didn't do that just to brag. Nor was that intended. It was just to get the background out of the way and the basis for questions, context, etc. All right, onward and upward. All right, let's start by the talking about the difference in preparing for going live versus going recording. Wait, before we start, what is the difference between going live and recording as it relates to all this camera stuff and all that? Okay, before we continue, if you could be so very kind, visit a page on my site. Why? The subtle answer is because it has handy links that we will use today. Actually, one link. And not so subtle is it's all laid out there, affiliate links. Well, actually, there's actually only one thing there. And it's because it will be easier for you if you can actually have access and follow along. And that is socialwebcafe.com/teaching. And you don't have to go there. It's just if it's easier to view it firsthand. Okay, now back to the question of the difference between going live and recording as it relates to all this camera stuff. And yes, we asked and received permission to use this little clip. And no, there is no intention or offense intended against Zoom. That's incidental. And in fact, Zoom represents cloud recording. And so let's define the parts. For our discussion, 2 types of recording. Okay, for our discussion, we're going to talk about 2 types of recording. We have cloud recording and we have local recording. And the local recording is sometimes referred to as localized. Now, there's actually a facilitated similarity between the two. For example, you can meet with Grandma via Zoom. You are in Washington and she is in Florida, and you can chat via the internet. This is done via cloud recording. Now you can decide to record a makeup how-to for your beauty blog. You are still at home in your house, home office in Washington. You are already logged into Zoom, so you start a new session to record the video. It saves to your laptop when you are finished with your free Zoom account. This is local recording via your camera, or at least we assume it's not sending anything to Zoom. Sidebar. No matter what we learn today, no matter what we learn ever, there can and will always be exceptions. So, Zoom. I'm not bashing Zoom, by the way. I'm not a Zoom expert per se, so read the fine print for Zoom. They advertise cloud storage. The free service saves to local disk. That's a discussion for another time. And speaking of, just again on the sidebar, whose fault is it when there's a problem with the recording, with live streaming, or recording that involves the internet? Sometimes it can be tracked. Often it's easier to blame the other guy. The reality is that everyone is a little bit right and probably a little bit wrong. The guy who is recording to the cloud is going to say it's about the computer, and the computer is not powerful enough for local recording. The guy who is promoting the local recording is going to say that it's about internet quality or network connection that causes problems with all the quality, and that it's the signal and the storage of the file. It is possible that they are both correct, and it's possible that they're both wrong. The key is here. Simply understand the pieces of the pie or flowchart so you understand your part, or your part in obtaining services and other devices, etc. Understand how to play the game and how to stay out of the game if and when possible. Okay, and going back to our original question, let's simply recognize that you can record via the cloud, talking to grandma in Florida via the internet, or you can record via camera on your laptop or desktop locally. And you can use the same service, in this case, Zoom. Also, we can dig deeper as far as how it was recorded, e.g. via the internet or to the internet, or which one would be the cloud. But let's not dig deeper, or we may still be talking about Zoom, cloud, and peanuts in the sky an hour from now. For simplicity, let's call cloud recording Zoom and local recording Riverside. Not because I like Riverside more, even if I do, but because it matches with the upcoming clip. And matches part of the later presentation if we get to that part. So, that's defined. A couple more yes, I can talk. A couple more definitions before we move into the next step. There are the sizes that Google considers for videos. They are the 16:9 ratio, basically a 4:3 ratio. It's a very small one, like the kind that fit on your phone, which is the SD. It stands for the standard definition. The next size is HD, or high definition. That used to be normal, as in like 1280 by 720. Remember those days? The next size is structured by the number, like 2K, 4K, 8K, etc. One of the most common is 4K. Make note of that. We will come back to it in a discussion if we have time in a little bit. And incidentally, as it relates to Riverside too, if we have time. One of the more common ones is simply referenced as HD. Remember the phrase aspect ratio and resolution so that you know what to ask. And since there are two different resolutions or aspect ratios that can be referenced as HD, Be sure to learn which one is which. And this is straight from Google's mouth site. The aspect ratio, again, aka resolution, is referenced by the last number. So 854 by 480 would be referenced as 480. 1280 by 720, 720. Where it gets a teensy bit weird is the numbers. Do you see that the labels actually correspond to the first number of the aspect ratio? Well, if you just remember the one you want, you should be okay. Like 3840 by 2160 has the label of the last number 2160, but the reference of the first number rounding 3840 to 4K. Before we start this clip, we can see a few things from the still image. And you thought we would never get here, right? Now that your head is spinning with numbers, you have some of the details not only for this clip, but you know what hardware is needed for the live recording, as in the streaming, recording via the internet, cloud recording, etc., and local recording. On the left, we have cloud recording at a 720 HD resolution based on excellent internet connection. On the right, we have local recording saved to the hard drive, recorded at a 2160 resolution, a camera that goes to at least 4K. Now we'll watch the video at different internet speeds, from no internet to poor internet to fair internet to near perfect internet. And how Riverside defines it, locally recorded means that the recording takes place on the computer instead of over the internet. The advantage of this is that the recordings are in the studio quality, and after downloading the recording, you won't hear the disruptions caused by bad internet connections. For each guest, you get a separate, locally recorded track. And finally, the entire clip, including the close-ups with the resolution on the face and the resulting pixelation from the effects that we have discussed and seen. And with that, this live webinar is presented compliments of bizsugar with their bizsugar live webinars, presented the first and third Wednesdays of every month. And this is all thanks to the diligence and hard work of Gail Gardner, community leader of bizsugar. So we are looking at this live video, basics when facing the camera and audience. Wow, that's a mouthful. And the key is we are looking at that facing the camera part. Because any way you cut it, whether it is live, which is what we're talking about this month at bizsugar, or recorded, which is also important, especially for posterity's sake, and can also be used in live situations. We are still facing that camera, and we are facing that camera whether there's an audience or not. And whether we're facing it or not, as in this situation. So we need to understand the camera and the basics that surround it. Ready? The first step in the process is to make sure you have the right tools to produce your videos, and we are going to start with the simplest and cheapest option. In fact, we will start with what you already have. This is often sufficient for producing basic on-camera videos. Your videos do not need to be slick or complex at all. This will give you a baseline, and then you can upgrade as needed. This is often the method that Michael and I use, and especially Michael when he meets with people in the sound and lighting prep. In this module, we will discuss cameras, microphones, lighting, and other gear. First, let's consider some easy options that you already have. One is to use your desktop computer or your laptop's webcam. There's nothing wrong with this, and many businesses use it for their on-camera video. The obvious advantage is that your webcam is already set up and ready to go. And usually you have built-in software ready for recording and editing that came with your computer. Before you invest in anything higher tech, it's a good idea to try creating a video with your webcam to test the quality. See how it looks and see if it's something you can use. And this is probably, with the viewers today, this is probably something you guys have already done. Your old hat, your experience, pro, you get it. But bear with us, there are newbies listening as well. So let's go through this. The disadvantage, of course, is the quality. Your webcam offers the worst quality of any of the options we will discuss. And by the way, just as an example, with the Mac laptop, which is a pretty, it's a decent laptop, okay? But the high end, we were talking about numbers and pixelation and so forth. The high end is that it's not into the 4K level. We're talking the 780, the highest of the HD of those two. Now, however, there are some ways you can boost the quality and perhaps get a decent video out of it, referring to your desktop or your laptop. One way is to invest in a better webcam that you can attach to your computer. You can buy a good webcam for under $100. This could be enough to turn your webcam video into something slicker and far more professional. Or I should say the webcam usage, because it's not like you're changing the one that's in the device itself. You can also augment your webcam by investing in better lighting and a better microphone. The best strategy is to do some trial recordings with built-in webcam and then see what it's lacking. For example, you might find that the video looks great, but the sound needs improvement. Another option is to record on your smartphone. Many of the videos you see on YouTube are recorded on smartphones, and modern smartphones offer excellent sound and audio quality. One of the great things about smartphones is that you can record anywhere. Whenever you have an idea, you can whip out your phone and start talking. With a little editing, this could produce a video that you can use. There are apps you can use to edit. So your video can be shot, edited, and uploaded with nothing but your phone. The disadvantages of recording with a smartphone is that your video looks like it was recorded on a smartphone. Again, check out some videos on YouTube and you will quickly see which were recorded on a phone. You can mitigate this by actively trying to make it look like it was not recorded on your phone. The best way to do this is to use a tripod. Mount your phone and you will cut down on the shakiness and accidental movements. You can see that a little bit in this image, mostly as you can tell the model is not holding the smartphone, but it is mounted on a tripod a few feet away. You should explore the above two options first. If your webcam or phone is sufficient, you are ready to get started. But if you feel that you need to upgrade, either now or in the future, there are some options available that give you more flexibility, features, and professionalism. Pocket cameras are small cameras that can shoot video. They're also called point-and-shoot cameras. They offer better quality and more options than a smartphone, but are just as mobile and easy to use, hence the name pocket camera. The quality of pocket cameras has improved over the years, so that those on the market today offer nearly professional quality. The pocket camera picture here is a common one to recognize as a pocket camera, but there are also small, regular-looking cameras that are deemed as pocket cameras because of their small size. The best way to find a good pocket camera is to go to a nearby shop and actually handle and try one out for yourself. Models that have gotten great reviews online in recent years include the Panasonic Lumix series, around $500 to $700. Now, I don't know about the money aspect. I mean, you could go on eBay and that may differ, but Canon EOS Rebel, and some of these have changed, and by the time you listen to this video, that may change. Also, sometimes you can get refurbished models on Amazon. There's also the Canon PowerShot. These are listed in online. I think I have some linked on the socialwebcafe.com/resources. Now, the pro is that these cameras generally provide better quality than phones or webcams. Also, they're portable. The con is the cost. They're not exactly $2. Camcorders are bulkier but capable of capturing better quality video than pocket cameras. Modern camcorders can shoot video that approaches professional quality. They come in all price ranges, but you can find one just for a couple $100. One major advantage over pocket cameras is that they have a great deal of memory. Popular and reasonably priced models are listed on the site, or at least you can access them by following the links. They're at socialwebcafe.com/resources. DSLR cameras are the professional grade cameras that videographers use. They are the most favored for all types of video production. DSLRs offer stunning clarity, excellent depth of field, a great number of options in terms of focus and shutter speed, various lenses, and long battery life. The disadvantages are the high cost and the size and bulk. I do have to say that my husband, the true videographer, professional photographer in our family and company, prefers his Nikon DSLR and all of its accessories. Or should I say, his accessories. LOL. Nikon offers a range of entry-level DSL cameras that retail for under $1,000. And there are links, or at least I think there's one link to start with on the socialwebcafe.com/resources. Start with the free options covered here, then you could move on to the inexpensive options before spending a lot of money on the expensive options. If possible, try out the cameras before buying them. Go to a camera store offline and see if you can handle some cameras and test them out before you buy. Read online reviews to make sure it offers what you're looking for in a camera. Keep in mind that you do not need fancy features to produce excellent on-camera videos. If you upgrade and pay extra for features you do not need, it will be a waste of money. Another tip on shopping is to decide on your budget first and then shop accordingly. For example, decide that you want a camera for under $400 that has a certain feature, and then stick to your budget and requirements. The next thing we will cover is the software. But before we dig in, let's cover the basic definitions to help avoid possible confusion. One type of software is recording software. Recording software is software that helps you capture the video, otherwise referred to as shooting the video. In many cases, that is part of the equipment and separate software is not needed, or the software comes with the equipment. Another type of software is video editing software. Video editing software is software that you can use to edit what has already been recorded or captured, however you want to reference it. Sometimes the two software types are all in one. For the most part, since the recording software is usually a part of the recording device, what you want to pay attention to is ensuring that you have the video editing software. If you already have some video editing software on your computer, you might consider using it instead of making additional purchases. Remember that the videos will not be complex and will not require a great deal of editing. Now, just a little review on recording software. Some equipment comes with software, such as webcams with built-in software on the computer. If you want to purchase software, there are programs such as Camtasia. And remember, we mentioned video editing software? Well, in this case, Camtasia works well for video editing. We will discuss editing options in more detail a little bit later if we have time. Whatever camera option you choose, it will usually have its own microphone built into the device. If the quality sounds okay, try to use the microphone that comes with your camera so that you do not have to spend more money. The huge advantage of the internal mic is that it does not require batteries or any extra gear, and it is already ready to go. But your internal mic may not be suitable. Internal mics often produce poor quality sound because they are omnidirectional. This means that it picks up all ambient sound and not just what you are recording. Again, create a video and listen to the sound. Once you hear it, you may realize it is lacking and you need to upgrade. Compare your video sound to the sound of your videos or to the videos that you find on YouTube, and it's easy to judge whether the quality is sufficient or not. You can boost your computer or smartphone sound quality using an external mic. This is a cheaper option than upgrading to a better camera because of the sound. Also, out of all of the options for purchasing equipment, a mic upgrade is one of the most recommended for its ROI. External mics can be attached to your computer or smartphone and are one of the first and easiest ways to improve the quality of your videos. There are a number of mic types, and which you should choose depends on the specific use you have in mind for it. You should also consider connectivity. Make sure the external mic works with the device you're using to record. If you're talking sound engineering, my background, as well as my husband's, then when you mention types of microphones, your immediate response would be something like cardioid or dynamic, etc. But in this case, we are talking about a different type, and if you really want to get it technical, you can purchase a specific type of microphone based on professional sound engineering, as well as the types listed below. But let's not cause our heads to spin and instead keep it simple, shall we? Now back to the types of mics based on that, on-camera work. With the types of mic, you have 4 different types, which we will show here. We'll go in depth in a few minutes. First, we have the desktop mic, the shotgun mic, the handheld mic, and the lapel mic. Okay, digging in a bit deeper into microphone types, starting with the desktop mics. The desktop mic is best for webcam video. It typically connects to your computer or laptop via a USB connection. The perfect option for recording at your desk, as you will not need to move them around and can avoid shuffling noises as you speak directly into the mic without holding it. The shotgun mics are the long, thin mics you see in a professional shoot. We actually use those in our studio, in our laptop, or in our studio near our laptop was what I meant to say, but that's a redundant statement. They're useful because they are very directional. They pick up the subject they're aimed at and generally just enough ambient noise to make it natural but not distracting. A shotgun mic can be used at a distance to pick up someone speaking in a noisy environment. Handheld mic is what you see reporters on TV using. They're easy to use and you can control what it picks up, pointing it at the speaker or sound you want to capture. It makes your videos look newsy, which could be an advantage or a disadvantage depending on what you're aiming for in your videos. You have to speak directly into them, but you can control the direction pretty easily. And your lapel mic or lavalier, they're the type of mics that you pin to a shirt. They're especially useful when you're moving around and do not want to have to keep messing with the mic. They're great for interviews. Well, that's assuming they're pointed correctly and they're not picking up all the noise from the shuffling in a suit or something. The only disadvantage is that they're sometimes finicky and pick up random ambient noise, like the noise of the person's clothing shuffling around. So make sure that you test them very well before each recording. Like I just said, referring to the lavalier and referring to it. Actually, that can be any mic. Lighting will have a huge effect on the quality of your video production. In fact, it can make a bigger difference than the camera you use or even the editing. You can use a lower quality camera, but with the right lighting, get a great look. Lighting influences the mood, the shadows in the shot, how your subject looks, and how your subject feels. First, try to choose a location for your videos that has good ambient light. Shooting outside or by a window with natural sunlight is often the best option if it's possible. Good ambient lighting can be all you need to produce a good video. If it's not, it's a great start, and a little extra lighting can be just enough to eliminate shadows and create a perfect shot. When choosing a location for shooting, walk around with your camera and a friend act as subject and take still shots in different areas. Look at the still shots and you can determine what part of the space offers the best ambient lighting. The most basic type of lighting is three-point lighting. As the name suggests, it uses three lights to control the scene: the key light, the fill, and the back. The key is the dominant light. It is placed at about a 45-degree angle to the left or right of the subject. It is positioned as though it were the only light, but it's not. It casts light on your subject, but creates deep and dark shadows. The fill fills in for key light. It is placed in a similar way as the key light, but its purpose is to remove or lessen the shadows. It mirrors the key light, but at a lower intensity. The fill is often placed on the other side as the key light. For example, if the key light is on the subject from the subject's right, the fill will be placed to the left to minimize the shadows. The backlight is cast on the background, giving it depth and separating the subject from the background. It creates form and texture. Three-point lighting is just one lighting scheme. It is considered the most basic in video production. However, with the ambient lighting in the location you have chosen, you might find that you can get by with just a key light. If possible, it's good to choose one particular place for most of your on-camera video production. You might choose one spot in your house or office where you have reliably consistent ambient light, and you will not need to change your lighting scheme each time. Michael actually likes to use another backlight and a hair light above the subject in addition to the basic three-point lighting scheme. It looks something like what you see here. When choosing lights, keep in mind that no one is ever going to watch your video and say, "Wow, they are using such and such lights." Lighting has a very narrow purpose, and you should buy the simplest, most inexpensive lights without sacrificing quality. And this is just to accomplish this purpose. Basically, there are many options that will suffice, But you have some options in terms of light bulbs. First, you have halogen. Halogen is the most used because it burns intensely and provides a soft, even light. Because a halogen light will burn so long, it is economical. The disadvantage is that it requires more power than other lights and also heats up a great deal, so you have to let it cool down after use. Incandescent. These are quite common. Your desk lamp likely uses incandescent lights. They can be yellow or white and are not terribly intense. They're inexpensive and use less energy, but burn out relatively quickly. Fluorescent. Fluorescent lights use little energy and give off little heat. The tubes can be exchanged so that you can use one rig for multiple lighting options. Fluorescent lights provide a soft, even light. Next, there are a few other items that you may need, like staging equipment, etc. I do not care for the term miscellaneous, but let's go with this list and figure out a list name later, shall we? Stabilizer. You will probably want to buy a tripod or some other type of stabilizer to keep your camera steady. With a good stabilizer, you can get even your smartphone shot videos to look steady and professional. Buy a stabilizer that is appropriate for your camera and try to choose something light since you may be lugging it around with you. For example, a monopod is a simpler and quicker option than a tripod. If you are using a smartphone, a selfie stick is helpful in stabilizing and extending the smartphone. If you are traveling around with portable sets, you may want to be sure to have some photography sandbags on hand to weigh down the tripod or anything else that needs to stay in place. Examples of stabilizers also include wall mounts when talking about a studio setup situation. Examples of these are linked at socialwebcafe.com/resources. And again, those are affiliate links, but I'm not stating that just to get you to purchase them. There's also pictures there. In these cases, I believe there's just the links, but following the links will provide you with the pictures no matter where you purchase them. You don't have to purchase them from me, but it will give you information so you know what you're looking for no matter where you purchase them. Boom pole. A boom pole is the pole that you will have seen photographers use on film shoots. You can mount a microphone on the end of it and hold it so that the microphone is close to the subject even when you are behind the camera. This is a good option if you're using a shotgun mic. Stock mount. Depending on what type of microphone you are using, you might need a stock mount. This is a mount that holds the microphone in place so that it does not get bumped around and make extra noise. Now keep in mind too, you may need some other things like, and we'll talk about bags and batteries and things like that. I'm giving you kind of a hint what's in this list, but there's a particular bag that's in the list and linked as well that has both of those. It actually has a USB plug-in inside the bag. That's something that I use when it's a kind of a mobile unit as far as recording. So check out the links again, socialwebcafe.com/resources. Headphones. Very, very important, no matter what the role is, whether it's post-production or recording. You will probably want a decent set of headphones, and yes, we have those at the page at socialwebcafe.com/resources. The headphones there we actually use in a professional capacity. They would be top of the line right before you hit professional. So they're not the most expensive headphones out there, but they are really nice headphones for what you need. So Anyway, you need to hear what you're recording, and you need to hear what the recording sounds like as you play back and edit your video. You may not be able to fix everything, but it's good to know where background noises are coming from so that you can avoid them in the future. Get a pair of headphones that cover your ears completely to ensure that you're able to protect your recording against feedback, because if there's any sound that's leaking, it can leak back into the microphone and cause what's called a feedback loop, and you do not want that. Light reflector. Although not a necessity, you might want a light reflector. A reflector allows you to control light and shadows more accurately. With a reflector, you can control the light without using as many actual lights. Instead of the 3-point setup, you might be able to get away with just the key light. Another helpful accessory is a honeycomb softbox. And that, yes, we do have a picture of that at the site at socialwebcafe.com/resources. Batteries. You will need to make sure you have the power supply to run all of your various devices. It is good to use batteries so that you do not have to run cables everywhere and plug things in. Even if you're plugging it into your computer or whatever, you don't want cables. You don't want to have to trip over things, so it's good to have batteries. Make sure that when you go to a set, everything is charged and that you have the backup batteries. Make sure you have extra batteries with you at all times so that running out of juice does not derail a shoot that is going well. You also need proper cables and backup cables if you're traveling. You would hate to have to stop your video shoot because of a broken cable. Be sure to properly research what types of cables you need and preferably get steel threaded, as they are more likely to hold up under difficult circumstances. Finally, if you're going to be doing on-camera video in different locations, spend the money and buy bags for each piece of video gear you buy. Bags make it easier to transport and store your gear. Also, with good bags, your gear will last longer and cut down on costs and headache buying new equipment. Other items. If you have a set studio, in other words stationary, where you do most of your recording, you may want to invest in special furniture that is stable but does not take up the entire recording screen. An example is a stool. And when we say the recording screen, we're talking about, like, for example, a chair, a high-back chair, that when the camera is on the person, you can see the back of the chair behind them. Whereas a stool, like, for example, a bar stool, you wouldn't see that. So that's just an example. A green screen and or backdrop is another item that is handy to have in the studio. When setting up your shots, imagine a line going directly from your camera to the subject. Try to shoot subjects at eye level. If you want to get creative, you can shoot downward or upward, but these dramatically change the feel of the shot. If you shoot downward at your subject, they will look smaller and they could look somewhat childlike. Shooting upward gives the subject an imposing look, and sometimes it gives them like a double chin, and that may not be what you're going for. That at eye level, the subject looks natural and professional. You should consider using a backdrop. If you have a backdrop, you do not have to worry about the background of your shots. You will be in total control of it. The color of the backdrop has a great impact on the feel of the shot. White can be too bright, and colors can be distracting. Gray is a good color to start with if this is new to you. You might want to purchase a few different backdrops for variety, and so that you can switch them depending on the nature of the shoot. You may want to have some soft household objects around to dampen the sound. If the room in which you're shooting has a natural echo, some soft furniture, cushions, pillows, or even a mattress leaned against the wall can remove some of this echo. This is not meant as an advertisement, and yet it is one technically, since the links are also affiliate links. There are links to most of the quote-unquote other items referenced in this presentation video at socialwebcafe.com/resources. Anything that is not linked will be linked. All right, now we're ready to hit record. You are all set. You ready? Okay, we're going to hit that button. If you do not have very much experience, that's okay. You may need practice, but you'll get it. Practice a few times and record your practicing. Watch and listen to your recordings. Learn and improve. And be easy on yourself. Now let's talk about what to wear. We actually have to give clothes some consideration. And this goes for your hair and anything else too. Now, we're not going to a beauty pageant per se, but let's ensure that we do not get, we don't want to give the wrong attention either. Determine what you want to say with your wardrobe. For example, a suit says professional, polite, and trusted. Casual says relatable, possibly fun, and approachable. And what about a brand like company shirt? Does it match your eyes? No, I'm serious. Brand conscious, maybe I do what I'm told, or I wanted to go out and get a shirt that matches my brand. And how about guidelines on what to wear? Colors and patterns should harmonize, not clash. Bright colors are okay as long as they work well. Avoid copyrighted styles and outfits. Always do a final check before shooting. And Deborah's mantra, if it's the same color and it didn't come together, it does not go together. Okay, and speaking in front of a camera, get comfortable. How you feel translates to how you look. If you're nervous, your viewers will know it. Make your environment as comfortable as possible. Don't wear clothes that you don't ordinarily wear. Create some kind of ritual to get yourself in a relaxed state of mind before shooting starts, and warm up so you're not shivering. Watch the ums and ahs. Watch out for involuntary ums and ahs and anything else. Watch your recordings so you can catch those. We do this subconsciously, so you may not realize you're doing it at all. Play back your first recordings and try to catch them. Now, I'm guilty of that, and I'm working on it. So none of us are perfect. See right there, I even pause for just a moment. We are works in progress, and that is okay. Pay attention to pace. You probably do not pay that much attention to the pace at which you speak in everyday life. But for shooting video, it's somewhat important. As a general guideline, you should speak at a natural pace, but a pace that's slightly slower than your normal. Again, listen back to your recordings and modify accordingly. I actually find that practicing with my bots, as in Alexa, and I can say that because this one in this room in my office has a different wake word, but practicing with Alexa is helpful because if I speak really fast to Alexa, she doesn't respond. So I don't know if you have the same thing or you have other bots, but it helps to practice. And not that I sit down and have a conversation, but by talking to Alexa, ask Alexa to turn the lights on and so forth. It helps with the pace. So keep that, keep it in mind. It might help you to be more conscious of the pace. Modulate your voice. If you want to create an extremely dull video, talk to the camera in an unmodulated, monotone, just totally boring voice. I want to see if I can do it. Let's see if we can do it. Speakers on camera purposely modulate their voice, often more than what is natural in order to make it. Okay, that's completely mundane, monotone. Do you want to sit and listen to a whole video like that? No, I didn't think so. So make sure that you modulate and make it more interesting. Listen to professional YouTubers and see what they do. And practice. Again, record and see what you do. And practice and improve. Body language. Your body could be telling a story. Could be telling your viewers that you're bored. Could be telling your viewers that you have no interest in them. Sit up straight. Sit up straight with good posture, just like your parents taught you. Don't slouch. Slouching makes you look like you're not confident and that you're not businesslike. If you're trying to look businesslike, don't go for the slouching. Try straightening up now and you'll see that it has an influence on your mind, making you feel more confident and more positive. Keep your head steady. There are some parts of your body that you can move around, like your hands. Actually, we're going to get to that one. But you don't want to move your head too much. It looks extremely unnatural. Looks weird. But remember, your face is the focus of the shot. And remember, don't pick your nose. Have you ever watched a video and someone's picking their nose and you're thinking, do they know they're being recorded? Yeah, don't be that person, because you'll be memorable, but not for something that you want to be memorable. Stay balanced. Don't shift your weight back and forth, especially standing, like from one hip to the other. No, not cool. Use a mirror. You might consider placing a mirror somewhere nearby, and guess what? I have a mirror in that list at socialwebcafe.com/resources. What you do with your eyes. This one's a biggie. It's also very difficult. You see, a lot of us, we really respond to looking at people and looking at people in their eyes, but really we're looking at a camera, and the camera represents the eyes, because when you watch the video, that is what we're looking at. If someone is looking at the person's eyes like in an interview, that's not what's registering. You actually have to look at the camera in order to register the eyes, because otherwise it's off camera. That's where a little tool well, I'm calling it a tool, but it's actually a shelving process. Plexicam. That's what you want. It's how you hold the camera so that the camera is right in front of you, so that you can relate to the camera as if it's a person and get the look that you want for your video. But I will put links. Again, you guys can fill in the blank and finish a sentence for me by now. socialwebcafe.com/resources. You can look away naturally. I mean, you don't want to be a robot. But when you do look away, make sure it's naturally. Just like you're a human being. Whatever you are doing in the video, make sure it looks natural and be natural. Don't forget to blink. Otherwise, you will not look like a real person. And again, remember the Plexicam. Check back later on the site and we'll have links to the Plexicam. It will make a huge difference. If there's nothing else that you get from this video, Plexicam. Yes, I can talk. Plexicam is the thing that you want. It will allow you to look natural and to look at people, even if you're looking at the camera. Facial expressions. Smile. No matter what kind of video, even as I'm talking to you now and you're not seeing my face, I'm smiling. You can hear it as I'm talking. I'm smiling. Now, it doesn't mean you have to smile from here to forever, but a nice, gentle smile. In general, you should have a natural, relaxed smile on your face. And it might sound strange, but practice smiling in front of a mirror. Remember, the mirror that you have right by your setup there. Study your face. This is probably the least comfortable aspect of getting yourself used to video. But watch those recordings and see what your face is doing. If there's any really strange, embarrassing tics, and I don't mean the bugs, I mean strange things that you might be doing with your face that you've always done, you'll find that in the recording. And I know it's awkward to study your face, but you might as well be the person that finds it rather than somebody else writing a comment on YouTube. And finally, the hands. The hands are a wonderful part of the body that we humans use for just about everything. And, make sure you're not sitting on your hands. But also, and I've seen this way too often, people talk with their hands, and that's great. Talk with your hands. I talk with my hands. But on videos, don't wave your hands around. People tend to wave them really fast, and you know what they end up being? Like a cartoon blur. And it doesn't look very good on videos. I know because I've done it. And it's kind of like the ums and ahs. I have to work on that. So if you are going to use your hands, it's a learned behavior. Just like we talk with the Plexicam, you need to move your hands slowly because the camera has to catch up as far as the pixels and what it's doing as far as writing that video. It's saying, hey, wait, the hand is here. Now the hand is here. Now the hand is here. And it needs to catch up as it's writing. And even as I'm talking, you can't see it, but I'm using my hands even as I'm talking. So make sure you're not moving your hands quickly as the video, especially the lower quality video, cannot catch up fast enough. And it's just going to look like a blur. And it's not going to look very good. So be aware of that. And again, record your videos and watch what's happening with your hands. And with that, I'm going to use my hand to wave and say thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Gail, bizsugar, and community, the bizsugar community. I appreciate the time you've spent with me this morning or this afternoon. You can reach me via Twitter. The easiest way right now is to DM me at Social Web Cafe. If you want any coupons or any free video courses, just DM me. I'll get you hooked up as far as that goes. And the links, I'll put those links on the two links above. Yes, we're all about links. The pillar page is at the top, the resource page, which is already set up for you. but I'll be updating that. Now, granted, the pages don't win any awards for design, but it's all about the content and the links that work and the information that is there. And I will add more information to the second page, which is the teaching tool. I will be adding things to the teaching page and more to the teaching tools there. As a disclaimer, both pages have affiliate links and both have teaching material for you. And stay tuned for more resources. If you want to be interviewed on a podcast, feel free to visit that link at the bottom, the one that starts with APPT, which stands for appointment. So it's appt.socialwebcafe.com/Deborah. And at this point, there is no charge to be featured in a podcast. And again, I want to say thank you so much for having me.
Hi, Deb. I hope you're here. Hello, Deborah.
Yes, I am here. That was me. I cut in on the recording where the recording stopped.
Oh, fancy. Okay, so I sent everybody a link to the Tip Talk chat you did on this very topic. And we'll have this video recording that we will put in the post on the blog at bizsugar. And so the FlexiCam, whatever that is, we're going to need a link for that. I don't see it on your page, and I can't find it. There's a lot of products with very similar names, and none of them seem to be what you're talking about.
Okay, I will add that. I think there's a link, but I think it's kind of buried, but I will, it's a wonderful product, so I will definitely highlight it, and I'll add it to both pages.
Okay, good. Okay, so Tom said, oh, before we leave that, I can't stare at a camera. I found that out. I was doing a presentation in Cape Town. The television crew was there and wanted us to do these little blurbs for their ads to get people to watch it. I just can't stare at a camera, apparently, because I did a bunch of takes and we gave up. So apparently it's very hard, especially for introverts. And so people will have to practice that. That's why I asked about that FlexiCam thing. Okay, so Tom Reid said that he loved the lighting graphic. He said the backlights are for backlighting the speaker, not the background. He said that might be simple for some, but that's not how he was thinking to do that. And so Amy said, thank you so much. Great presentation, despite the getting started trials. And that, I am sure, actually was the Zoho meeting webinar, because when I restarted it, the problem went away. And I did replicate the problem when Deborah was gone, using a different computer and different connection. And so I'll let Zoho know about that. They're always changing stuff. They probably just left a hole there somehow. Martin said, thank you. No questions, Martin? I figured Martin would have questions. Oh, I think he did. Hang on, scroll up. I think you did have a question, but now I don't remember what it was. Maybe he can remember. All right, so again, I want to invite everybody to join the mastermind. If you're not already a member, it doesn't cost anything. You just go to bizsugar.com/mastermind. You have to log in there. At 2 o'clock today, we will have our LinkedIn expert, and she really is a LinkedIn expert. Gillian is going to be there. Jillian, I always want to say it wrong. Jillian is going to be there answering all your questions about LinkedIn Live and LinkedIn in general. And we hope you come. Deborah will probably be there. Will you be there, Deb?
I hope so. I might take a little break.
Yeah, no, take a little break, and then hopefully Deb will come back. And if you guys have any follow-up questions, you can ask her. If not, you can ask anytime in the mastermind, and I will get the answer, and we'll make sure you have it. And the recording will be up in the post shortly or in a little bit. And so, yay, we made it. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I hope that we see you in the mastermind community. Oh, and benefits. I'm going to tell you about benefits. We have all these webinars. If you go to blog.bizsugar.com/webinars, you can see replays of all the webinars we've ever done. We have really great webinar guests, like amazing guests. Andy Crestadina, and one of the top platinum Google My Business experts, those kind of people. They're amazing. And we have all the chats that we've ever done. You can go look at them. We have the blog, of course. We have a sharing community where you can share your content. And I'm not going to record this part, so I'm going to tell you, you can share your content. And when it goes hot, which it will if you're a regular, everybody will know you, and we'll make sure that your stuff goes hot. Then you get a do follow link from it back to your website. I mean, there's all kinds of influencers in there that will help you get more visibility and links and stuff, and writers and all kinds of talent. So please come join us at the Mastermind community. And we'll see you guys in about 22 minutes. Thank you, Deb. See you soon.